Start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Roger, we got a roll program.
Tower cleared.
Roger, roll. Complete and emission program. And ignition. 11 Houston, you're good at 1 minute. You're looking good. All right, Roger, you're loud and clear. You
back America's first space shuttle, the Enterprise. They lifted off from a strip in the Mojave Desert, climbing into the morning air to make a bit of history today. At this moment, from a live camera...
launch ready.
Take 1
There they go. They have separation.
Phase 2 clear. Okay, we got a GPC light, lost the sync on 2, pushing over. Got a big X on computer number 2.
They're still several minutes away from actual touchdown. We can gauge it as they read out their altitude.
Enterprise, you're cleared to start the turn.
Okay, Gordo's in the turn. It's really tight, Bo. In fact, I think it's a little better than the... They're all down, coming down. Look down here. 50 feet. 40 feet. 30. 20, 15, 10, holding 10, 220 at about 5 feet, 4 feet, getting some top, 4 feet, 3 feet, 2 feet, just over off about 2 feet. You're on, you're on. Okay, your nose wheel's about 10 feet.
One, and liftoff. Liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
Cuando apenas había transcurrido 1 minuto del despegue y el Challenger volaba a 3 veces la velocidad del sonido y a una altura de 16 kilómetros, se desintegró en el aire. 7 astronautas, entre ellos 2 mujeres, han muerto. Millones de personas han contemplado hoy con horror la explosión en vuelo de la nave espacial Challenger captada por las cámaras de televisión.
Reagan siguió la catástrofe en silencio y con muestras visibles dañarse muy impresionado. Poco después anunció que los vuelos espaciales quedan aplazados todos hasta que se conozcan las causas de este accidente.
everybody. What's the yes? They're written up on. Are we talking about coding or about this one's already been coded? This one has a huge gap. That's the side. All right. How do we fix it?
Left just a little bit, even kijken wat hier is.
1911 uniform.
De visio nog steeds aan. Volledig stevig aan, toch? Nog gewoon even op de pier zetten. Ja. Pier, kom maar aan.
Yeah, it's getting there. I can rotate the pin, but I gotta use an extension. You go stop a minute. Right there. Stop. Stop right there. You got it. All right, hold on, Jim. Let me get this. All right, ready? Right down by your leg. through anything. Pretty cool. Carriage screws and ribbon cable. Right now. Oh, last crew I had, I spent like,
That's if they come around the other side. Yeah, the way we go, we won't be here. Way back there, we're going to be coming down this side of the
there's not. Need a mirror or anything?
just completed our safety pre-task briefing, and we'll be getting in advance and ready to go on your call.
Safety console 50 on direct 7.
50, safety console, go ahead.
Final inspection team and closeout crew have entered the pad.
Copy that.
Only ice you'll ever get in Florida.
Piers Sellers. This is his third space flight, having flown on STS-112 on Atlantis and 121 aboard Discovery. He's logged 41 EVA hours and 6 spacewalks. And Michael Good, making his second trip into space, having served as mission specialist number 2 on this mission. He'll be doing spacewalks on EVAs 2 and 3. He was previously on Atlantis on STS-125, the most recent mission to do maintenance on the Hubble Space Telescope. So our 6-member crew will be headed to the launch pad in about another 10 minutes. And here comes our STS-132 Atlantis crew, leaving the suit-up room, headed now for the elevator. And much of the astronaut support personnel in the ONC giving them a goodbye as they leave. Looking now at the astronaut transfer van, the crew van, the Astrovan as it's called. And there is the door next to the elevator that will be opening momentarily. And here they come. Community Spacer employees are always invited to wish the crew well as they leave for the launch pad. And they'll be escorted out to the pad by a NASA security van, as is customary, behind them. And there they go.
You guys a little warm this morning? Good morning.
How are you?
Morning.
Good morning, Commander. How are you, sir?
Freaking cold, man. I know it.
Right.
Here we go. Yeah, they don't make these things none too big.
Am I early?
Yes, sir. It has nothing to do with cheeseburgers, I promise.
Yeah. All right.
Where's the battery? Huh? Where's the battery? These are on the
Ray?
wall. Can't miss them. Okay. Ray.
Hey, get that camera out of my face.
How are you, Rick?
Good. Good. Good, sir.
Did they offer you any cooling? Did you want any?
No, I'm okay.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good.
Boy, your hands are cold.
That's all right.
Okay, you ready to come up?
Yes.
All right, Dennis. You got too cold.
What did I tell you? I'm so glad. I just said I didn't do it. So what time was your daughter born?
Oh, well, finally, at 1.
Firing chain is armed, sound suppression water system activated. T-minus 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Go for main engine start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And 0 and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis, reaching the crest of its historic achievements in space.
And Houston, Atlantis is in a roll.
Roger, roll.
Houston is now controlling. The roll maneuver is complete. Atlantis is in a heads-down position on course for a 51.6 degree, 136 by 36 statute mile orbit. And the 3 main engines on Atlantis have now been throttled down to 72% of rated thrust as the orbiter prepares to pass through the area of maximum dynamic pressure on the vehicle in the lower atmosphere. The engine's now beginning to throttle back up.
Atlantis, you are go at throttle up.
Copy, go at throttle up. All 3 engines looking really good, back at full throttle now at liftoff. The fully fueled shuttle, boosters, and external tank weighed 4.5 million pounds. It now has burned half of that liftoff weight in propellant. 1 minute, 30 seconds into the flight, all 3 auxiliary power units that provide hydraulic power to the orbiter's systems in good shape, as are the fuel cells, providing electricity to all of the systems on board. Atlantis is already 19 miles in altitude, downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 20 miles, traveling 2,500 miles per hour. Coming up on staging, the point at which the twin solid rocket boosters burn out and separate from the orbiter. Booster separation confirmed. The onboard guidance system has done its job of settling out any of the dispersions that have been introduced at the booster.
Are there to make sure that any unburned hydrogen gets ignited before it floats around and collects in some place where it can ignite later and cause problems. Again, you're seeing the engine sort of turn on here. And so we're roughly coming into about 5 seconds before liftoff. The computers are checking and validating that everything's A-OK. And there's a little bit of a pitch over that the whole vehicle does as a consequence of these engines thrusting off the center of gravity. And when the whole vehicle snaps back and is straight up in the air, the engines or the boosters ignite and the whole thing takes off. Great photography here. I mean, you can see all this flow phenomenon going on inside the engines. Now, the space shuttle main engines are burning hydrogen and oxygen, and I'll talk about some of the fun facts about that later on in some of the other clips that you're going to see. But here you can see the engines have stabilized and everything is A-OK. And
well, at this next view coming up is Echo 18 or Camera 18, and it's a 10mm lens and looking at the TSM or the tail service mast carrier disconnect.
Yeah, the umbilicals, there's one on each side of the orbiter, one for the liquid oxygen fueling and one for the liquid hydrogen fueling. Those are primary purposes. You can see there's a lot of other instrumentation on these things in feed lines. But these cameras, their intention is to make sure we get good retraction of this. And there's actually a huge 20,000-pound mast that pulls these things inside the tail service mast for the door to slam shut and protect them from the hostile environment on the outside. Now these umbilicals are about 4 feet wide by 6 foot tall, so you don't really get a sense of scale when you're looking at these in these movies. But they're as big as an average-sized human being, so they're quite large.
One of the interesting photographic challenges that we run into in photographing the TSM carrier disconnect from the inside of the tail service mast is once that door closes, it's pitch black in there. So there's a set of series of tungsten lamps that provide illumination, and the vibrations, the tremendous amount of vibrations that are induced during the liftoff, really rattle those lights, and keeping them from having those bulbs break has been quite a challenge. In fact, they are in the process of changing those lights over to the new LED arrays that provide more stability and less frequency of having the bulbs go out before the film runs out.
They're a lot more robust to that kind of environment. All right, this view is of a structure we call the GUP, which is the ground umbilical carrier plate, which attaches to the ground umbilical carrier assembly, sometimes called the GUCA. That plate is about 1.5 feet by 3 foot. It's a sizable plate. You don't really capture the scale in this, and you can see the vehicle is now lifted up.
This is from STS-114, return to flight. So this was in July 26th of 2005. And we're about 2 miles from the pad, just south of pad 39B here. And the camera is cocked at a 45-degree angle to enable maximum use of the 16:9 aspect ratio that is available with the HD TV cameras.
Now it's important our viewers take a good look into the left window there. You can actually see Eileen Collins, who commanded this mission. You can see her suit inside the window. Absolutely amazing. And this is a first, right? This is a first in the program. We started using high-definition video after Columbia, and that was one of the first times we saw this level of detail in photography.
That is correct. So this particular camera view is EHV 225. This was recorded on STS-117. It was in June 2006. And the camera is running at 60 frames a second, as all the HD TV cameras do. The orientation of the camera is cocked at 45 degrees to make maximum use of the aspect ratio of the 16:9 frame to get as much of the vehicle, space shuttle vehicle, in the frame as possible.
This particular shot I chose because it's well exposed and it shows a beautiful sequence in the roll program. But you also get this really nice vapor phenomenon as the vehicle accelerates to higher speeds. And this is not always visible to the, for every launch, it's a consequence of atmospheric conditions, dew point, humidity, etc. So I thought it was kind of a nice touch to this particular image. This is the only long-range camera that made the final cut, and Kevin will give you the details about that in a moment, but I want you to look at the bottom of the tank there. As you saw, it just sort of became engulfed in flames. And you should know that this is a normal phenomenon in a shuttle launch. What's effectively occurring here is the exhaust gases coming out of the SRBs and the SSMEs are sort of expanding into the higher vacuum as they head into space. And the radiant heat from the expanded plumes becomes high enough to ignite some volatile gases that are caught up in this aerodynamic dead zone, so to speak, at the rear of the tank for a couple of moments during flight. But this is an amazing shot, Kevin, because it's from so far away, so why don't you explain what we're looking at here?
Yeah, Matt, the camera here is located at a place called Apollo Beach. It's within Cape Canaveral National Seashore.
On the flight deck, Stevie Ray and Zambo doing IV.
He's doing all the work.
Steve, I have the
Changing tapes.
with me here. I'm back on third one.
Okay, that sounds great. All the T-clamps off. You get all 9 of them?
I did.
I guess you wouldn't have P602 if you hadn't. In that case, you can mate P602 to the Y jumper. It's labeled J602.
Let's see.
See, I had a couple add-in steps here.
Right.
Which is on J602. Looks like there may be a dust cap on there. If so, stow it in your trash bag.
There is a dust cap. I have J602 and it's Wi-Fi band 133.
Endeavor, take air data. Taking air data.
As it flies at an altitude of 8,000 feet, flying at 1,600 miles per hour.
Endeavor, Houston, you are on energy, approaching the hack. Winds are now 7, peak 12 on the nose, 3, peak 5 from the right. Nominal shoot deploy. Copy all, nominal shoot.
3 minutes to touchdown. Endeavor flying at an altitude of 30,000 feet at 510 miles per hour.
Endeavor, on at the 180.
On at the 180.
Pilot Doug Hurley taking a chance to fly the Space Shuttle Endeavour around the heading alignment cylinder. Transceivers on Endeavour are interacting with stations on the ground to provide the best available range, elevation, and azimuth.
KC runway 15's in sight.
Houston copies. Field in sight.
One and a half minutes to touchdown. Less than 10,000 feet in altitude remaining. Endeavour's descent rate is 20 times higher and 7 times steeper than a commercial airliner on the final approach. "30 seconds to touchdown. The landing gear is down and locked. Touchdown. Pilot Doug Hurley now deploying the drag chute. And Commander Mark Polanski rotating the nose gear down to the deck. Nose gear touchdown. Endeavour rolling out on runway 15 at the Kennedy Space Center, wrapping up a 6.5 million mile mission. This is the 71st landing at the Kennedy Space Center. Endeavour has completed its 23rd mission and the 127th Space Shuttle mission. It was the 29th to the International Space Station.
More thorough post-flight physical and see their families. And the plan is to go back to the Johnson Space Center on Saturday afternoon. And it looks like they're going to go back in the astronaut transfer van, the Astrovan, instead of the crew transport vehicle. Same vehicle that they went to the launch pad on.